Hello and welcome back to the Authentic Creative Expanding Our Capacity to Feel Good. Today is a very exciting day. Not only is it November 1st, but I've got Meagan Sky here, my dear friend, and she's an incredible artist. So I'm going to read you her bio really quick so you can just understand who we're talking to. So Meagan Sky is a soul singer, award-winning songwriter, mother of twins, and certified self-love master practitioner and coach. With her soulful gospel-inspired sound and heartfelt lyrics, Meagan's music empowers listeners to embrace self-love and authenticity. Her latest EP, I'll Be the One, has reached audiences in over 15 countries, and her single, Am I Already Found, placed third in the 2024 International Songwriters Day contest. Featured on Portland's KATU News and Everyday Northwest show, Meagan also partners with causes like the American Cancer Society and continues her bi-monthly residency at Alberta St pub, where she invites other artists to share their own journeys of self-love and authenticity. And I will tell you guys that I have been to Alberta St pub a few times with Meagan. And the last time I was there, I won this jacket. And if you can't see it, it says, it's a jean jacket, very cool dark jean jacket. And it says, you are the one, you are the one, you are the one, you are the one. And it's awesome. She has the best swag. If you ever go to one of her shows, if you're ever lucky enough to go to one of her shows, Meagan spends so much, she takes so much love and attention and detail to curating a full body experience, a full sensory experience. There are stickers, there are bubbles, there is obviously her band is incredible, the way that they work together with Meagan. And I'm always getting up and just have to dance because your music, Meagan, just rocks my soul and I love it so much. And I just feel so grateful to be in your incredibly cool world. And also just the way that you collaborate with, like it says in your bio, with other singers and lift them up and showcase them is really special. You're just, and I have so much to say. I'm going to let you talk, I promise. But one more thing I just have to get out so I don't forget is on my birthday, I was supposed to go see a comedy show with my dad and my husband, and it got canceled. And Meagan had plans, and I was like, let's just do what you're doing. And I know you said to me, like, in your Instagram story, like, I just feel really seen by you. And ditto, because you made that birthday, birthdays are vulnerable. And you made that birthday really special for me. You made me feel really seen, really loved. You and your husband just like showed up big, full for me, and it meant the world. So thank you for that. How are you doing today on the day of your release of your single?
I'm just beaming over here. So as you're talking, I'm giggling, I'm beaming, I'm ready to chime in. So
You're
yes,
glowing.
I do feel so seen. And this is such a special day to connect with you because it is release day and so much goes into releasing a song. But I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's a joy to be a part of this community that you've cultivated and just to have you in my life. You've been just such a blessing and such a sweet treat. We've kind of known of each other for a while, and then our worlds have been over time colliding, and it's a beautiful thing. And you were meant to win that jean jacket, and and I'm so glad we got to celebrate your birthday with you. Birthdays are so important. They, to me, are like one of the most vulnerable days, like you said. And it's, as we get older, I think it becomes in some ways less about us, or the years start to kind of mush together. But celebrating your life and having people around you that can celebrate you and let you know how loved you are and hold up a mirror, like, to me, that's one of the best gifts you could give somebody. So
You
happy
did that. Thank you. You did that. When's your birthday?
It's November 12th. It's in 12 days.
I had a feeling. I was just feeling that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, when it's birthday month, like magic kind of shows up too. Like it can be a little heavy because you're looking around and looking at your life and it's reflective. But I also think that magic shows up in really incredible ways, or things that you've been threading together throughout the whole year. All of a sudden, they're kind of just coming into a full piece of art.
Fruition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna play some of Meagan's incredible music, but I had just intuitively want to ask you one question before we do.
Sure.
Your music has such a powerful message of self-love and authenticity, which is so much what this podcast is about.
Hmm.
And it's resonated with people across the world. So, how did you, Meagan, develop this commitment to self-love in your own life? And how has it shaped your music and your approach as a self-love master practitioner? So there's kind of three parts to this question. We can just start
Mhm.
with developing this commitment to self-love in your own life, because that's very much tied into the album we're going to play a few songs from.
Yeah, I think as you were talking, the answer that came to mind for me was the commitment came from not committing for so long. And I think, you know, probably most people that are listening can relate to this feeling of there's like a whisper, like an inner calling that's guiding you. And sometimes we spend a lot of our time questioning it or doubting it or looking for confirmation that it's valid. And I think I spent 40 years doing that. And at the same time, I knew that it was something that was about my identity and about my purpose. And that is to create art and music that speaks to the soul and is alchemic and, you know, is healing, but also uplifting and empowering, and to also kind of free that inner child that felt very confined by needing to please other people to feel loved, and you know, maybe a little bit of an overachiever and just constantly trying to read the room. I'm empathic, so you know, it was just, I was constantly compromising this little part of myself that is really my higher self and my truest self. And after not you know, tending to that garden for so long, I was really withering away inside, and it was affecting my health. It was affecting my mental health. It was affecting my ability to be a mother and a partner. And yeah, so it was really what drove me to commit, was realizing how important it was because I hadn't done it. And the commitment comes over and over and over again. It's kind of like you keep doing it, and then doubt creeps in or life happens and it gets really easy to get distracted, and then you need to recommit over and over and over again. And every time I do, it gets easier. um, I become less attached to the outcome and more in tune with, this is just what I need to do, which I think is really hard as a creative. I think we're often, especially in performance creative, you know, forms, where we're kind of looking for outside accolades or appreciation, or, you know, your audience to clap, you know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the chapter I'm in right now, is not needing that, and just knowing that what I'm creating is what my soul needs to do, and that it will find the people that need to hear it, you know.
Yes, that it will just divinely crash into the other people's souls that are needing and wanting the medicine of your music, of your art, of your work. You're a very dynamic artist. There's so many different ways that you create. And that's what I was touching upon earlier, is like your soul comes through, your life force comes through, your care, your heart comes through at a concert of yours. It's all very, very magical and kind of mystical and very generous.
That is so good to hear, because that's my ambition. And, you know, in my mind, it's even bigger, right? Like it's even bigger. But I really wanted to take that really big vision and break it down into smaller ways of showing that level of giving, and seeing my audience and creating a healing, immersive experience for them. So, you know, from the minute you walk in the door, you're greeted with an affirmation. And then throughout the set, there's stories about the lessons behind each song. And invitations for you to kind of tune into yourself and ask yourself some of those same questions that I've bumped up against. In the last show that I did, I even wove in kind of like a meditation in there, which was really fulfilling for me. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while. And then we figured out a way to do it. And then it just dovetailed into another song. And we do
Amazing.
it at the end with all this fun merch. I'm an artist, fine artist by trade also, and graphic designer. So it's so fun for me to create a visual world around a sonic world and a deeper message of healing and showing up for yourself. So
Yeah, and it translates. I feel that vision and I feel that playfulness and that fun that you have. I don't want to make us wait any longer. So the song that came out last night at midnight is called Moments in Between.
yep.
And I'm just gonna play like 30 seconds of it for you guys right here. Here we go.
Don't get stuck in the past or afraid to move on. Everything we need is in the moments we own. If nothing will last, the future's unknown. Then everything we need is in the moments we hold. Is it up in the stars? Is it right where you are? Is it what you can reach? Only the air that you breathe. Is it buried underground? Is it treasure to be found? Maybe all we really need is in the moments in between. Is it up in the stars? Is it right where you are? Is it what you can reach? Only the air that you breathe. Is it buried underground? Is it treasure to be found? Maybe all we really need is in the moments in between.
Ah, it's so good. I can't wait to hear it live.
Oh yeah, well, we've been performing it live at the last two
Oh,
shows. Yeah, so it was like at the
okay.
top of the set, but
Okay.
not a lot of people noticed because it was so new, and it's at the very beginning of the set. So we're kind of toying around with where to put it in the set. But yeah, it's such a fun song. To me, it's just I can talk a lot about the creation of it, but
Yes.
so I wrote it with the producer, which is really fun because when you do that, the producer can be demoing the song as you're writing. So it comes to life really big, really fast. Whereas like
Okay.
some co-writes that I do, it's just me at a keyboard and we're just kind of laying down some basic, foundational chords. But this was like it had the drums, it had the bass, and then we went through a couple of rounds of writing. Like we kind of had a first round of writing, and then I was like, I feel like we could say some things in a more unique way. And so I kind of was honing in on that more and getting input from some of my mentors. And then we brought in session musicians, which was really cool. A lot of times, modern pop music, a lot of those sounds just come straight out of the computer. They're like pre-recorded and people are just kind of sampling different sounds. But what I really love to do is to bring in actual musicians to record those elements live, because they're going to be able to translate and interpret the sounds with unique creativity that they add. That I'm not a guitarist. I'm not, an organ player. Like I can play the keys and I can write music and I can sing, but I am not super skilled at every single instrument. So when you bring in someone who's super skilled at drums, super skilled at bass, super skilled, then you get to have them translate and add their own flavor to it. And what happened with this song was really beautiful that way. We had Craig McIntyre from the Goo Goo Dolls. He was the drummer, and you can hear it in that section that we just played.
I
It
was
was
just gonna ask you that. Was
we
it him?
started with
Yeah.
the bridge, and he just does this thing where he's like moving around on all the different pieces of the kit, and it's dynamic. And then Matt Salinas played guitar, and he brought in a 12 string, and that's what gives it that really like tingy, almost Fleetwood Mac vibe in the choruses. And it's just, he brought in flavor that I had no idea we were going to put that in there, so.
So fun.
And the producer, Troy Wellstad, he is a phenomenal keys player. Like he's toured around with like Pink and Duffy, and now he's also
Wow.
a producer, and he grew up playing the organ. So he can play the Hammond B organ and play like any keyboard possible. So it was just a really incredible group of musicians that came together, brought their own creativity and vision to, the foundation that we had created. So
So where did you all record this?
We recorded it here in Portland at Troy's studio. He's got like a little studio out in Southeast Portland. He's just now moved back down to LA. So he's kind of building up his studio down there now. But those players, Craig and Matt, they play with me live too. So we already had like a dynamic of performing together and translating my music together in a live setting. So it was very easy for us all to kind of get together. The studio was very small, so we were all crammed in there trying to make it all work, you know. But
you have such good chemistry as artists together, and you're just vibing, and it's just very fun to watch you each really enjoying yourselves and working together in that collaborative way.
That's so important to me, you know, like, so my training is in graphic design and creative direction, and it's all about developing teams of creatives and inspiring them to create, you know, a campaign or anything that you see. And so it's the same with music. I wanted to create an opportunity for each individual to be able to show up with their skills and be inspired to shine, and not have me be super prescriptive. Like, I want it just like this. It's like, I want this emotion, and I want to make sure this, you know, it drives in this way, or, you know, but really let me know what you think, because you are going to have your own opinion, and your opinion matters to me. And when you let your creatives on your team do that, they want to be there and they feel valued. And then you get to show up in a really collaborative way that other people can feel and hear in the room, you know.
That's great. So much of, I love this talk about collaboration, because so much of being good at anything is how we listen, right? Being a practitioner, guiding others, giving others an experience, making something successful is so much about how we listen, and also about what you just shared, which is this kind of letting go.
Yeah.
And I feel like you and I kind of have this thing that we both understand of wanting things to be really good and perfect, and like wanting to control it in a certain way. And that just comes from, you know, our heart, but also from fear. And you're describing this process of surrender.
Yeah.
So
And trusting.
yeah. Oh, and well, yeah, that's so surrender and trust. So will you tell me, and maybe we can dovetail this into like playing one of your other songs, but more about surrender and trust? Because I think those are really key for me,
Yeah.
right?
And I think, yeah, same. This is where it really, it's mindset, but it's also your spirituality, you know, and it's like believing that you are taken care of, and that you are so taken care of, like that you are absolutely always on your path, that you can't do this wrong. Like that's a big one, right?
That's good. That's real good.
My song Maybe, which is the last song on the EP that I put out, is about that. It's about all the doubt that we can face, and then when you finally see the pieces coming together, you realize it was meant to be that way all along, you know.
Let's play that. Where should
Okay.
I start it? Like 1:30, or where do you think?
um Maybe just at the beginning through
Okay.
this chorus. It might be a little bit of a longer take, but I think it sets up the internal struggle and the doubt, and then the relief of the chorus, which is that maybe it all works out in the end.
Yes, let's do this.
I don't know why I wake up feeling like I'm living the same day twice. Worried thoughts that circle in my dizzy mind. I don't know why. I don't know why. I keep thinking all my stars fell unaligned, but I swear I'm still looking up at the same old sky. I don't know why. If there never was a fire, would we know the way to breathe? If we held on any tighter, would there be room for what we need?
I just want to keep listening because
That's a long take too.
I know, but like, I mean, it's just, I feel like I'm in a river of love. It's just, but it's also the pain because, with your music, it's so poignant to feel because you cannot separate the joy and the pain. They are one and the same. In Buddhism, it's like every world, there's 10 worlds, and every world has 10 worlds within that world. And so that is what I feel with your music is like I feel the pain, I feel the authentic wholeness of your experience, but then I also feel the joy like simultaneously, right? So many of your songs have that.
Wow, mission accomplished. Yay. It's tricky because I want my music to be empowering. I ultimately want people to walk away and be like, I got this. I remember who I am and what I'm here to do. And it's okay that it's been hard. And I'm going to pick up the pieces and I'm just going to show up and I'm just going to have the bravery to show up. And I'm going to be the one to do it. I'm not going to be a victim in my life. I'm not waiting for someone else to solve my problems, right? So it's really easy to want to write a song where it's already solved, where you're just like, you're awesome, you're amazing, go, go, go. Really, for me, it's not like that. Like I am a Scorpio. I am literally a phoenix that is like burning it down over and over and over again so that I can rise. And that's what I've learned about myself. And I feel like if I can keep the song in that place of tension where we're still maybe questioning, it's just more real to my experience. And so it's really great to hear that for someone as inspirational as you are, someone that guides people to healing, that it doesn't feel too dark or like it's not going into a place of healing, because ultimately that's what I do want.
Oh, I mean, heck no. Like, one of my favorites is the classic, right? Like Joni Mitchell's Blue album, right? It's like so much of that pain is in there. But Meagan, you do accomplish that because when I come out of your concert, I feel this empowerment, right? And when I listen to your songs, I feel this empowerment. So you talked about tension. I'm going to play tension and release. Do you have a preference where I start it?
No, I probably should have had that set up for you ahead of time.
No, you're good. I can just play from the
like the 1 minute
beginning.
mark or something, maybe.
1 minute?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we are good. This is organic, live, real, in real time.
All the way to breathe.
Oops, that's not it. Hold on, guys.
I know it's enough. And honey, what have you become? But I don't wanna let me down. No, I don't wanna let me down. It's hard to let go of the past. But I'm tied up and it's holding me back. I know tension, but release is something I've been chasing in and out of dreams. Yeah, I know that it's crazy. I can't sleep at night. It's messing up my life. I need a little peace. That tension and release me.
That song gets in our heads. Like me and Jake, we both are singing it around the house. I love that song so much.
That
Okay,
one
tell me about it.
is
Tell me about it.
That one is like, it is the anthem to what I was dealing with. That explains those 40 years of thinking I'm just going to be stuck. Like that was what I had started to convince myself of. I guess this is just my life story, that I know there's more for me. I know that that I'm capable of more, but I'll just never really be able to achieve it.
Mm.
How sad is that? Like that was what I had like started to convince myself of. And
But I feel like that's so relatable. I feel like so many people feel that way.
it's easier. That is the easier thing to do. Let's just be honest. It is harder to
Yeah.
show up and be like, I'm going to believe in what I know, but I can't see yet. I don't actually have physical evidence of yet. And that takes belief in yourself. And you can't just create belief in yourself. Like, especially if you've spent decades trying to please other people or convince yourself that, you know, don't shine too bright, or, you know, all this stuff. It's like, that takes work. And so you got to show up for those feelings of inadequacy with tenderness and be like, it's okay. And that internal struggle, that tension is proof that you know you're worth more. Know it. If you didn't know it, you wouldn't feel the struggle. You'd be like, ah, that's cool. I'm just I'm just whatever. I'm just mediocre.
Yeah.
But the inner critic battling it out with the higher self, that tension shows you that you know you're worth more, because that inner critic is making you not feel great. If the inner critic was right, you wouldn't feel bad. You'd be like, yeah, you're totally right.
That's so good. So the tension is the proof of your potential.
Yeah.
Got it. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Meagan, tell me more about this self-love practice, because as we're talking, you're sharing about the work, what this work is. But can you get into it for us? Like, what do you do? What have you done? What's worked?
I mean, a lot, you know, and I can say there are certain things that work really well for me, like meditation, but guided meditations are really, for me, and with music, are really healing. Like, I need someone to kind of talk me through a visualization. Like those types of meditations for me are really great, and I love to do them every day if I can, just to kind of remember my worth, remember what I'm aiming for, remember to quiet the inner critic and all the chatter, and to kind of rise above it and get centered in that inner knowing is super powerful and really helpful. The other thing that isn't so much of like it is a practice, but it's noticing your thoughts and being able to see through them, and kind of lifting that veil of like, that was a thought, that's not reality. So what is that? And being kind to yourself, and just holding space inside yourself for all the different feelings, and being like, there's nothing wrong with me having that feeling. There's nothing wrong with me not knowing. There's nothing wrong with me wanting more. Like there's nothing wrong with any of that. And just loving yourself through all of the feels. And, you know, like I said, there's no specific practice for that, but it's just noticing the thoughts, seeing through them. And then I think the really big thing is just outlining what your values are, because our values are not always the way that we act in the world, and they're not always the way that we treat ourselves inside our own heads.
That's right.
When I remember what my value is, like the way you would treat your own best friend. What if your best friend was like, I really want to do more with my life, and I have this like nagging feeling that there's more for me, would you be like, no, you've already missed that boat, or maybe not good enough, or I wouldn't risk it? Would you tell her that? Like, you wouldn't. But like, often we say those exact things to ourselves. So we're kind of like in this really like a
adversarial relation. Yeah.
Yeah, we're like gaslighting ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, who do you think you are? Like, so when you can see through it and remember, actually, my values are that I believe that we should stand up for what we believe in. I believe that everybody has a unique story to tell. I believe that there's no one way to do things, you know, like whatever your beliefs are. And then remember to like give yourself that gift of owning that value for yourself.
I've got the lawnmower guy here, of course. So, can you hear that?
It's very subtle. It's like almost nothing.
Okay. So, I was playing this morning in my morning routine, cold shower routine, dancing around. I was playing I'll Be the One, which is one of my absolute favorite songs of yours. And the lyrics are really special. And I'm very curious to hear from you, to share with our audience here what that was for you.
This one's pretty sassy. And I'll say, you know, even some of the verses of Moments in Between get pretty sassy too. And I think it's important for me to do songs like that, because I was always told that I had too much attitude. I was too emotional. You know, I needed to I was very she would say, not argumentative, but basically that, like you always have a different opinion from everybody else. And it's really important for my inner child to be able to kind of step up and say things that are a little bit more like more outward facing, like, I don't really need you. Like, I don't, or did you lie to me? Or what did the world tell me that isn't really true? Things like that. And so this song, it was kind of hard that way because it was me saying, like, I thought if I gave everybody all of me, that they would give me all of the things back that I needed to feel confident. And they just didn't. And over time, I got really hurt inside by that. And it makes me cry. Like, I wish somebody could have really just cradled me and held me and been like, you are so enough. You are so incredible. And I never got it. Like, and even when I kind of trained my husband to say just the right things at the right time, it still was never quite enough. And I realized I have to be the one. And I got so fed up. I was so pissed off. I was so bone dry. Like, I felt like I'd been sucked dry. I'd like breastfed two babies at the same time. I'd given my entire body to like having twins. I had given up, all my emotions to the whole world with all of my empathy and all of my ability to see what they needed emotionally, but yet no one could quite do it for me. And I remember just finally getting this point of meltdown where I was like, F it, I'll be the one. No one else is going to do this but me. And that's where this song came from.
It's really beautiful. I'm just going to play it from the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have given every part of me, but I'm glad you let me down. 'Cause when the only one you trust just leaves, you gotta build a better house. And I've got myself now. You left me bone dry, sleepwalking through a lonely life. I won't let you do it again. Wide-eyed with more than a million reasons why I'm different this time. If you don't know how to love and you can't give me enough, I'll be the one to love me. If your heart's a little cold and you're afraid to pull me close, I'll be the one to hold me.
I mean, every time I hear that song, it just goes deeper.
Wow. Awesome. You're like feeling more of it. Yeah.
I love the sassiness of it. And I love the message, the core message of no one's coming to save us.
No.
We got to be the one. We're
Yeah.
our own hero.
Yeah. You get to be the hero. You get to be the hero. And you also get to be the author.
Mm.
You get to be both. You get to be the hero of your own life story and you get to be the author. And I think that's where I kind of came up with, you are the one, which is on the back of the jacket. It's like, you are the one that gets to decide how you feel. You're the one that makes up the rules for your life. That's that value set I was talking about. And you're really the one that you come home to at the end of the day. So all those choices you made, all the different ways you might have given yourself away today, how you spent your time, what you did or didn't do, that's what you have to live with. You have to live with yourself. So, decide what you want to do, and who you want to be, and you get to decide. I know it doesn't always feel that way. Sometimes my emotions are so big. I'm like, okay, this wave is just going to be crashing over me for the next 24 hours. But like, I'm going to come out on the other side stronger and knowing the depth of my emotions more, and I'm going to pick myself up. So,
Yes, it's very empowering as opposed to outsourcing our validation or waiting for the type of love language that's just the right kind. Because, I mean, the thing that we know, Meagan, is your husband's amazing. My husband's amazing. They can do it all right. They
Yep.
can do all the things. And just like you said, they can do it all right and they can do it well and they can do it often. But ultimately, if we can't receive that love, if there's some level of unabsorption,
Yeah. Yeah.
then it doesn't matter what they say or do. We're not going to receive it. We're not even going to hear it.
That's so true. That is so wise. That's exactly it. Like, what can you allow in? If you can't even believe it's true for yourself and you're still waiting, like if you're waiting for validation and validation comes, the fact that you were even waiting for it means you won't even receive it.
Mm,
You know,
yes,
you have to
yes.
believe that you're worth their love for their love to even start to settle in. And even then, like we can only really understand somebody else's internal world so much, or what each gesture might really mean for them.
Right. Yeah, totally. Okay, here's another question for you. Your single, Am I Already Found, has garnered international attention,
Hmm.
placing in a major songwriting contest. Can you share the inspiration behind this song and how it reflects your journey with self-discovery and acceptance?
Yeah, so I think we talked a little bit about how each song on that EP is kind of my cycle of self-love that I go through too. So before picking the pieces up, which is I'll be the one and taking authority, there's usually when I go through this cycle over and over and over again, there's this feeling of being a bit lost and like
Mm,
questioning and
mm,
wondering, who am I really supposed to be in this world? If I do get to just make all the decisions, like, um, how do I know what's truly me? And that is that seeking of external validation. There's a bit of that going on in that feeling of being a bit lost. And so that's what this song is about, is kind of seeking validation in a way, but searching for yourself, like trying to find yourself in all of the confusion and doubt, I guess. And looking to nature, like a lot of my songs reference nature in a way, because I do think there's so much wisdom in us and around us all the time. Like the heartbeat of the earth is just so wise. So yeah, I think we should just listen to the lyrics and maybe it'll make more sense.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, just by the way, I recently got together with a bunch of our girlfriends, and everyone had one of your stickers on either their phone or their water bottle. It was so fun. Like you were there, even though you weren't there, Meagan. Yes.
Oh, that makes me so happy to hear. Yeah,
Uh,
and that message is there, hopefully.
and I just thought of that because you were talking about nature and how nature is such therapy. Okay, so am I already found? Are we starting from the beginning?
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A quiet flower waiting to grow back. She doesn't count the days or the hours. And in my mind, I'm scared of the payback. If I'm not the person that you like, walk away, walk alone. I could die, I could fall, walking on this tightrope. I'm awake, I can cope, and my heart isn't cold. Help me find my way home. I keep looking for stars in the sky, for water deep in the ground. I keep looking for someone that looks like me. Am I already found?
Yeah, so like it's fun to listen to it again. Like that first line, a quiet flower waiting to grow back. She doesn't count the days or the hours. Like if you think about nature, like it doesn't question the trees don't question when they lose their leaves. They know they're coming back in spring. They know they're going to like get all the fuel in the darkness of winter to bloom again, in the spring. And then the line right after that, like I'm scared of the payback if I'm not the person that you like, that's that juxtaposition. I want to be the flower. I want to feel confident enough to know that I can carry myself through the ups and downs of life. But I'm still really scared of like what the world thinks of me. And if I do let go and I let myself be that free, what would the world think? Like who would I be in the world if I'm truly myself, and not worried?
That's perfect because this is the authentic creative, and that's what you're talking about. You're talking about being an authentic creative. And that was my next question for you, Meagan, is, by the way, that song is so much fun to dance to, right? So, how do you, I mean, you talked about values and coming back to your values, and I think that's part of it. You already answered it. But let's just like make sure we've really fully tackled this authenticity. How do you keep coming back to it? How do you know what is your most authentic expression? How do you know you're being your most authentic self? How can you continue to lean into that authenticity?
Well, so as far as creative practice, I get kind of what I would call little mini epiphanies or downloads all the time where I'm kind of like walking through life and all of a sudden I just find a few words to describe something that I've been wrestling with, or a better way to understand a feeling or an emotion. And I just jot them down or I voice memo them. And so over a period of time, I can go back and kind of see there's some themes that a lot of these fall under. So I can kind of bundle them together and be like, yeah, this theme is about limiting, or these are all about limiting beliefs. This one's about that feeling that I had when I was getting ready to go on stage and I just was like doubting myself, or
yeah, I wanted to ask you about that too. Thank you for reminding me. I'm really curious what you do.
Oh God, I'm working on that one right now. So, but yeah, I'll just say, so like, that's how I know it's authentic, is because I'm not sitting down being like, I'm going to write a song about, it's like, it already came up for me and I'm noticing it as a theme in my internal world that I'm trying to translate to the outer world. And then the songwriting process is that translation moment. I'm holding space and time for me to unravel those thoughts and lyric ideas and put them in together into something that feels a little bit more cohesive.
Yeah, I got it. That's beautiful.
And
Yeah.
you only really, I mean, to me, it is really important that the listener also could experience that and have connection with it. So even just speaking with you today lets me know that I'm being authentic because you're mirroring back to me how it lands for you. And so I'm like, I accomplished it. So that's a big part of it too.
Yeah.
As far as getting on stage, so I will say it is one of the hardest things for me to do. So first of all, when you're singing in a studio, you can take as many takes as you want,
Yeah.
map out what part texture of my voice I want to use in what area. When you get on stage, it can really easily just all fall apart and your voice can start doing some really weird stuff. It can crack, it can feel unstable. And a lot of that is training and just training and the practice and the art of your craft of voice. But for me personally, as soon as I question, am I going to hit that note, or am I going to sound okay, or what's going to happen next, my voice does weird stuff that it would not normally do.
Yeah.
So it is kind of a meditative practice to be on stage because I'm constantly fighting that inner critic and bringing myself back to trying to be present in the moment and let the sound just come out of me. Let that band support me. Let that room connect with me and trust that I got it and it's okay. And I did all the work and, I'm just here to connect. And as of late, what I've uncovered is so much of that doubt is really about feeling like I needed to prove that I'm good enough, that I sound good enough, that I'm a good enough vocalist, that, all these things. And it's a hard one for me because it's so deeply rooted. Like it's, I think I said it when I was on stage at my last show, like I'm literally up here fighting against like decades of programming that told me not to do this, that this was not safe.
Right.
So how do you how do you put on a show under spotlights in front of people and feel confident when really all your programming has told you not to do it?
Yeah,
And
because there's this other side of you, Meagan, that knows, right? That knows like it knows like it knows that this is your mission.
yeah, and that it's not going to be perfect, even if it's true. Like, and that there's nothing to prove. If I know and I know and I know that I know, then I don't need to prove that to anybody because I know that. And as soon as you can do that, and you can be like, this is bigger than me also, like that's also that I don't have anything here to prove, that I'm just here showing up for myself and just giving gifts, it gets real easy. And something else kind of steps in a way, you know.
Yeah, I love that you're talking about not having anything to prove and that it's not about you because I think the best performers are the ones that put their attention on the other people. Again, it's that listening thing, right? It's like, but that is a meditation, like you said, that constant coming off of the self-consciousness
Mhm.
because you care and putting your attention back to the work at hand. And that's exactly meditation, isn't it?
Yep, exactly. And in the last show, those doubts were coming up pretty big for me in the first part of the set. And then we did a meditation in the middle of the set. And after we did that, I was like, I'm good. Like, I'm golden. We're all good here. There's nothing, it doesn't matter. You
Wow,
know,
incredible. Well, then that's got to be in all the shows then.
I know. And I might just need to start with it because I
Yes.
needed it. I needed to be
Yes.
grounded. And I do some stuff like I've been doing some tapping, and I try to do a little meditation before I get on stage to remind myself of that value set, you know, of what I know to be true, and that I'm not there to prove anything. I'm just there to show up and give my gifts, and also show up for that inner child that needs the healing, and to undo all the programming, you know, that's why I'm there. And if sometimes it's hard and it doesn't go the way that I planned, that just means I did a lot more work that day. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
did more healing at that show than a show where maybe it came a lot easier.
So, in terms of healing, each show is an opportunity not just for you and the people you work with to create something unexpected together, but then everyone else in the audience, it's this collaborative healing. And I really feel that as well in your music and, just listening to your music on Spotify, but also being live with you. It is a healing.
Mm. I mean, I love hearing that. I really do. And it's the community piece is also something. It's like I want it there, but I can't force that. I don't know how to totally make that happen. I can ask guests to look at each other and acknowledge who's in the room, and remember that you're part of something, you know, energetically that night that's bigger than you. Um, but ultimately, how someone accepts that information, or how, you know, what they allow in, is up to them. So I'm kind of just planting seeds, if you will, and inviting, and hoping that there is some gorgeous synergy in the room. Because when I look out and I see you and I see all these incredible souls, like feeling it, dancing, you know, closing their eyes, and I can see something really incredible from where I stand, that I wish you all could see too. It's pretty amazing. That is a gift to me, really. So
That's such a reward for you to see the reverberation of what you've put out and what you've created and cultivated. And it is a garden of your love every time.
yeah, and of theirs, like that people are just like there to not only just to support me, but to just be a part of this conversation, you know, and to just be open to doing the work, you know. And that's beautiful to see, and it inspires me to keep doing more, for sure.
Well, you've definitely been the sort of linchpin of the community for us in Portland, for our
Wow.
group. Yeah, no, I mean, because usually the only way we get together is through your events for the most part. So, that's an important role that you've been playing. And I'm very, very, very appreciative of having that core central fun experience that we can keep, like the events that you've created where I got to do human design, and like and Heidi got to stand up and share, and Jen List got to share, and like we all get to kind of be a part of this world with you, and it's so fun.
Yeah,
So,
that's the
yeah,
goal.
so fun. Yeah, so Meagan, like let's round out with your single. What is there anything else that's up for you about what you want to share about it, what's exciting you about it, why you wanted to put it out, why you wanted to put it out today?
Yeah. So moments in between, it's really about finding that inner fulfillment and carrying yourself through the ups and downs. I think it's easy to define ourselves by some of our darkest moments. It's easy to try to define ourselves by some of our greatest successes, but really we are best defined by those moments in between all of that and how we come home to ourselves over and over and over again. So this song is all about that. And yeah, it released today, and I wanted to release it in my birthday month because I knew it would feel celebratory. I also feel like that 12-string guitar just gives it a little bit of a witchy vibe. So I felt like close to Halloween would be fun. There's something fall about it to me. And the other piece that's really cool is the album art. I worked with a local photographer here, Paisley, and we did tons of film, but we ended up doing a couple of Polaroids. And in one of the Polaroids, these were just kind of extra. We did some like double exposure, triple exposure, quadruple exposure. And one of them became the album cover, and it's me kind of taking my hands and moving them around my face because we're having this kind of internal conflict with ourselves where we're kind of like grabbing at ourselves in a way, trying to find equanimity and trying to find home again. And that artwork is really cool because it's something I could not have planned. It was that creative freedom to explore, and it became the album cover. So yeah, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon, all of the things. And I just really hope that people find it to be like a soundtrack for their fall season, I guess, and
Amazing.
yeah, because right now too, with the election and holidays coming, I also think it's a really good time to come home to yourself. I mean, it always is, but right now it feels
Yes.
extra important. So
Yeah, for sure. And so is the call to action for them to go and listen on the places you just mentioned, or what would be the call to action?
yeah, so Meagan Sky on Spotify, Apple Music, all those things. Also on my website, meaganmusic.com, Meagan music.com. There is a place to listen to it there, and you can sign up to get a free intuitive card reading from me, which is really cool too. So there's kind of this extra kind of giveaway that I always love to offer. So yeah, and you can,
Amazing. Because I wasn't going to mention that just in case we weren't putting that together here, but I'm glad you mentioned it because I really want that.
yeah, I have cards that I'm passing out to people that have a QR code that lead to that page. And that page has been a private page, but I'm going to make it public today. So anyone can go there and listen to the song there and then fill out that form and be entered to win a reading.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that's really fun. But really, following me on Instagram is huge. Joining my mailing list is huge. Just being able to have a conversation with you guys means the world to me. And yeah, and whatever platform you like to stream it on is great. Spotify is, because it's so social, is a great place to stream it and share it and add it to your playlist. And the more data that they get and understand who likes my music, the more they're able to share it with the right people. And that is a huge thing. That's just kind of a long game. So the more that people can share it there, the more new fans I can find, through that platform.
That's great to know. Okay, well, that's what I'm already doing. And guys, come to breathwork because I'll do a whole Meagan Sky breathwork class. We'll do
Yes.
that soon.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think after I get back from LA. So grateful for you, Meagan. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and your vulnerability and your stories and your truth and your authenticity and your processes and just the way that you come to things. It's really unique and special and beautiful. And I'm so just in love with your music. I love you so much. Thank you for this. Congratulations for this being your birthday month and your single coming out today. This is very exciting. So
Thank you so much. It's such a treat to be here. And I just want to take a minute to just thank you for holding the space, for having candid conversations where we can feel confident enough in ourselves to just show up and talk. It's incredible. So thank you. And for, all of your gifts, the breath work, the way you bring people together, podcasts, all your offerings are so generous, so beautiful. So lucky to know you and have you in my life.
thank you. Love you. And guys, keep expanding your capacity to feel good, one breath at a time. We'll see you soon.